Hello, viewers. I'm Dr. Alex. I work as a general practitioner, and welcome to my new YouTube channel. I would like you to subscribe and click the notification button so that every time we post a video, you are actually able to get notified about our new videos and our new content. Our channel basically we give medical explanations to some of the phenomenon, and in so we give you knowledge so that you can improve on your health and also on your lifestyle. Today I came across a case and we had a diagnosis of a disease known as leptospirosis. And some of you may not have never heard of this disease, or it is your first time hearing this disease. So this disease, while it is very rare, it is actually possible, and everyone is a potential victim of acquiring this disease. This disease is caused by bacteria, which is transmitted by the rats. As we know, rats are basically one of the most resilient creatures, followed by cockroaches, which are one of the other resilient living things we have on the planet. And so today we shall be diving about rats and how to prevent them, and also some of the diseases which are caused by rats, which actually you may not be knowing about. Before we proceed any further, I think some of you do not know the difference between a rat and a mice. And I think I would like to take this moment to explain the difference between these two. So the difference between these two is basically in terms of their appearance, their morphology. However, they belong to the same family and the same class of creatures. So rats basically have small ears, while mice have larger ears. Rats have a tail which has no fur. The mice have a tail which has fur. Rats have large feet, while mice have small feet. I think that's the only thing you can use to differentiate those two creatures. Otherwise, in this whole video, I'll be using the word rat as a general term. So why are rats resilient creatures? Because they are virtually found in every place on earth, in homes, in bushes, in barns, in farms, in supermarkets, in offices, basically everywhere. Rats are found in those areas. So one thing is that rats are omnivorous. This basically enables them to be virtually in any place in the world because their sources of food are quite available. In addition, they also eat things which actually we may not consider them as food, such as paper, money, clothes, shoes, rubber, anything which is basically can be considered to be non-nutritious. These animals are able to feed on those things. The other thing is that rats actually have a very strong sense of smell. Even though they have a poor eyesight, they have a very strong sense of smell. They are able to detect food whenever it is kept or hidden. And also using the sense of smell, they're able to detect predators and able to run away from these predators. That's how they are able to survive. However, rats are quite weird creatures in that rats are able to sense ultraviolet rays. Okay, where human beings cannot be able to detect the ultraviolet. The other thing is how rats are also able to detect ultrasound. Ultrasound are very high frequency sounds which cannot be detected by a human ear. However, rats and also dogs and cats are able to detect ultrasound waves, and that's they are able to hear the other creatures which may be using that frequency. Rats are actually very, 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 very evasive creatures. A notorious case about rats is that there's an island called Hawadax Island. Hawadax Island is found in Alaska in the USA. This Hawadax Island used to be known as the Rat Island. It was until 2009 that the rats were able to be eliminated from this island. Rats had caused a menace in this island in that most of the vegetation and also the wildlife in the area had been cleared by these rats. So the US Department of Fish and Wildlife was able to make an operation and was able to clear these rats off the island. And as of 2009, this island was actually declared rat-free. Let's talk about some of the diseases which are actually spread by rats. I know the most common disease you're thinking about at this moment is the plague, the bubonic plague, also known as the Black Death. This was a disease which was able to kill over 100 million people in Europe during the Dark Ages. It was a very, very, very notorious disease. It is transmitted by fleas, which bite actually infected rats, and they are able to transmit the disease, which is a bacteria, onto human beings via bites. The fleas were the culprit, which were being harbored by these rats. So, however, in addition to that, we have very many other diseases you may not be knowing about, which are actually spread by rats. So, in this moment, let's dive in. Disease number 1, we have the Hunter pulmonary syndrome disease. So, this disease is spread by the Hunter virus. Hunter virus actually resides in the droppings or the feces and urine of these rats. So, when somebody inhales in the droppings, inhaling the dust which actually has been infected with the droppings or the urine, somebody is able to acquire this virus, the Hunter virus, and they are able to progress into the Hunter virus pulmonary syndrome, which is characterized by difficulty in breathing as one of the major signs. In 1993, there was an outbreak of this virus in the USA, in the states of Arizona, Utah, New Mexico, and Colorado, and had a 50% mortality. So it's a very, very serious disease. So hemorrhagic fever with renal failure is the other disease. Also, it is caused by the Hunter virus and also acquired through inhalation of dust which has been infected with droppings and urine of these rats. It causes acute kidney injury. Acute kidney injury will be characterized by low urine output and elevated potassium levels in your blood, which can actually lead to comatose and finally death. So it's a very serious disease. So the other disease is Lassa fever. Lassa fever is actually an endemic disease which is found in West Africa in areas of Nigeria, Liberia, Sierra Leone, and Guinea. So as of 2019, we had an outbreak of Lassa disease in these areas. So Lassa virus is also gotten from the rats. When somebody comes into contact with the rat, it's a very serious disease which causes actual bleeding in areas of the mouth, the nose, and other orifices. And actually, it has a 15 to 20% mortality rate once you are admitted in hospital. So it's a very serious disease. Leptospirosis is caused by a bacteria, and this bacteria can actually be acquired when somebody eats food or drinks any fluids which are contaminated with feces or urine from these infected rats. One of the key cardinal characteristics of this disease, a person presents with meningitis, signs of meningitis, and also they have a characteristic yellowing of eyes and reddening at the same time. So it's a very, very clear-cut characteristics of this disease, which clinicians use. The other disease is rat bite fever. Rat bite fever is acquired once an infected rat bites you. Common signs and symptoms is basically you can develop rash on your hands and on your feet, in addition to fever and generalized body weakness. So how do we get rid of these rats since they are a menace in our environment? So traditionally, there are very many methods which have been employed in getting rid of these rats. The most effective are rodenticides. So these are poisons which are able to clear and kill these rats. Previously, in the past, we've been using arsenic as one of the poisons. However, arsenic is a hazard to the environment, and the other creatures like birds and fish end up getting poisoned by this arsenic. Endomethacin is a painkiller which has been used in management of various ailments such as arthritis in people. It's a very effective drug. However, this drug has actually been found to be able to eliminate that is basically 2 capsules are able to eliminate mice and those rats once they feed on things which have been laced with endomethacin. The other thing is sodium bicarbonate. So rats cannot vomit and rats cannot belch. So once they ingest any foods which have been laced with sodium bicarbonate, once sodium bicarbonate reaches the stomach of the rat, it interacts with the acid in the stomach of the rat and is able to generate carbon dioxide. So since rats cannot belch or vomit, the carbon dioxide accumulates in the stomach, causing their stomach to swell. So once their stomach swells, the stomach actually compresses the vital organs. The heart, the lungs, and the liver are all compressed by this enlarged stomach. And that's how the rat is able to die. Sodium bicarbonate, also known as baking soda, is very common in our homes, in our pharmacies. It is a very, very, very common utility used in homes. And actually, once a child feeds on sodium bicarbonate, there's no risk of poisoning. So it's very, very effective. Similar to endomethacin, you can use endomethacin without risking children getting poisoned from endomethacin. So it's a very, very effective poison to get rid of these rats. So thank you very much for listening to this video, and please don't forget to subscribe and click the notification button, and please like the video or share the video. You can actually put any other things you want us to discuss in the next videos in our comments section below, so that we can make another video discussing on that very topic you want us to discuss within our comments. So thank you very much. Goodbye.